Hello and welcome back to Tachikawa. You are listening to Sakamichi Nights. My name is Matthew Boynton and I'm joined as always by Daniel Bellamy. How are you today, Daniel?
Great. Doing great.
It's an exciting day today.
It is.
It's always chaos when we have two guests on the pod.
It's rare, but it's chaotically
But it's
good.
there.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce this week's guests?
Yeah, I mean, I know them as well as anybody on the planet, I suppose. So I might as well get right into it.
See if you get their names right.
All right. First up, we have Dominic. Dominic is, let me tell you everything I know about Dominic. He hosts stand-up comedy nights, and anybody can just go there, and he doesn't care if you're funny or not. He doesn't care, like, how off-color or racist your material is. Like, you can say anything. He loves it. Also, he's a great dude. He likes beer. What am I missing?
You probably should tell them I'm black, so they know it's not like the racism isn't.
It's not from a white place.
Yes, it's from
It's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know where to go from there.
Just keep digging that hole.
I think we pitched earlier that Dominic was then going to introduce our next guest, and I'm really feeling that idea right now.
Okay. All right. So our next guest is one of the funniest comedians in Tokyo. She's my go-to headliner, to the point I've had to hear crap from other people. But I rely on her a lot. I host quite a few shows, as Daniel mentioned. For my showcases, she's my go-to. I trust her immensely. She kills it every time. Let's bring on to the podcast, Yuki Neves.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel good.
It was good. I should be taking
What
notes.
a nice introduction.
How to introduce
Why do you never
somebody?
introduce me like that?
And my show is like the opposite of how you described his show.
To be fair, I've never seen Dominic's show. I have no idea what it's like.
No, you got it all right.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
You pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, I get
So, welcome to the show, Yuki, probably the biggest and most famous guest we've ever had on the show. And welcome back to the show, Dominic,
Thank you.
probably the least famous guest we've ever had on.
I'm okay with that.
It's a pleasure to have you both back. Let's start with a big question. Do you enjoy beer, Yuki? Do you enjoy beer? Be honest.
Okay, I gotta be honest. So even though I forced myself on this podcast, I don't usually drink beer.
Okay.
So my goal today is to learn what draft beer is.
Okay.
How is it different from regular beer?
Draft beer means it comes from a tap. That's all that means.
Replace the C with a D.
What? I'm confused.
Craft beer? Mm-hmm. Or draft beer?
Draft beer or craft beer.
Uh-huh.
You said draft beer. Well, we're getting confused already here. Okay, this is good content.
Oh my gosh!
Let's
Hold
pause.
on. Is it craft beer?
Yes.
Craft beer, yeah.
But what is draft beer? I hear that too.
Draft
Comes
beer
from a
comes
tap.
from a tap, from a keg.
As opposed to
So you guys do which one?
Draft beer.
craft.
Draft craft beer. We
Now
serve it
I'm
from those
even
taps
more
over there.
confused. Oh my god.
We're always told that we're a very informative podcast.
educational.
Here it is.
No.
Entertainment.
No. How's this? This episode is an intro for the people who had no idea about beer.
That's a big part of our listener group is people who don't give a shit about beer. That's-
Oh, they are just
Yeah.
your fans.
yeah.
The incapacitated people in
Playing in a
doctors'
nursing
waiting.
home somewhere. You can't turn it off.
The mentally unfit. Yes. Dominic, do you like drinking beer?
I love beer.
Do you like draft beer?
I like draft beer.
Do you like craft beer?
I love craft beer.
Draft craft beer.
Yes. Screw cans.
Good answers.
Screw cans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, you have some questions prepared for our guests.
I
Do
do.
you not?
These are our guest questions that we ask every guest. You can take them however you want. You can answer them however you want. But we ask everybody the same questions to get a baseline understanding of who they are as it relates to this show. Are you ready? Question the first. What was the first craft beer you remember drinking, Dominic?
I cannot give you an answer. Like, I like craft beer, but the first thing I'm looking at is the percentage.
You want to find a high percentage?
Yes.
Or, right.
Yes. I'm looking for the high percentage. And then...
Is Old English a craft beer? in this case.
It was at one point.
I mean, it is crafted, and it might even be beer.
I don't think it's beer.
Yeah, it was
That's
cobbled
the problem,
together.
I think.
It's craft malt liquor.
Yeah. Cobbled together in the hood. Honestly, I can't remember. I can't remember what my first craft beer was.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Honest answer.
How about you, Yuki?
Oh, wrong guest tonight. I can't remember either. But can I say what I usually go?
Yeah,
for?
go for it, yeah.
So I know I like. Okay, even though I have no idea what stout is, but I know I like it because that's what usually comes with the ice cream float.
Right, sure.
So anything. So if I find anything that says vanilla flavor or caramel or ice cream float, that's what I go for.
Okay.
That's what you're looking
And
for.
generally that's a stout or
Yeah.
porter kind of thing. Okay, right. Nice. Number 2, what is your local craft beer hangout?
Okay. That one I can't answer. I know where, I kind of says screw cans, but I go to, because I live in Sangenjaya, I go to what I think it's called Sanitarium. I think.
Okay.
I go to places, I just know where places are. I go there.
It is sanitarium, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The only thing Dominic is looking at is the ABV percentage. He's not looking at the shop name. He doesn't care what the beer is called.
I'm looking for effect. No, but yeah, I go to Sanitarium. I get stuff from there. I get stuff at Harry's because they have canned stuff.
Have you ever been to Pigalle? Pigalle? I don't know how to pronounce it.
No.
It's in Sangenjaya. It's right near the station. Have you been there? It's tiny.
Nah, I haven't been there. Like I live in Sangenjaya. I do my shopping there. I don't drink there. McKellar.
McKellar? Yeah.
That's where I go to.
That's usually my go-to.
I thought you wouldn't have an answer to this.
But I go to Mikila because they have the ice cream thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's actually an ice cream scooped into
Yeah.
a beer. It's actual
Yeah.
beer float.
No, actually, the Mikila, it's kind of like, it looks like a coffee float.
Mm-hmm.
So you pour the beer on ice cream.
Like an affogato kind of thing.
Yeah, affogato.
Right on.
Oh, shit, it has a name.
Really tasty.
It sounds all right to me. I'm no purist.
No, absolutely. I mean,
I think, and then they usually come with a cherry, like this.
right. So it's a real sundae in that case.
Kind of, yeah.
Very tasty.
Sounds good. What is the best or most memorable beer you've had recently?
It's a sour, a berry sour. Again, names.
It was 8%.
Probably
Who has time for details?
exactly. It was full bodied. It looked good enough.
Some kind of berry sour.
Yeah.
Sounds all right. I like a sour. I like berries.
I like sours.
Yuki, how about you? Any very memorable beers recently?
I'd say this one, Cruel Beauty, because that's what I am.
Right. We're getting
This is good.
we're getting deep into the minds of our guests already.
So these questions are really backfiring. I'm seeing the flaws having kind of non-beer drinkers, non-craft beer heads on the show. But hey, we'll figure that out at another time. By which I mean never. Number 4, have you ever poured a beer down the sink? Yuki doesn't. Yeah, why? Why would you do such a thing? If it's if the beer is spoiled or we poured a couple down the sink just last night, didn't we?
Yep.
Sometimes they get oxygen in the can or something like that, and the beer can go off.
I wouldn't know.
So no is the answer
No.
then, right?
About 3 weeks ago, it was. I don't look at names, but some oatmeal stout that I got from Sanitarium, rather. I went out that night. My wife was at home. She opened it. She thought it was a damn soft drink. She took one sip, didn't drink the rest of it, left it out the whole night. I come back home. She has a headache. She wonders why she has a damn headache. I'm like, this isn't a soft, this is a damn craft beer. And it costs like 700 yen. And it's like, So I had to pour it out.
Right. So not because it was bad. I mean, it was
Because
probably
she
bad at
ruined
that
it.
point, but yeah.
Yeah, she ruined it. Yeah. No, it's kind of a common thing. But.
Frustrating. I'd ask you what the beer was, but you don't know.
Nope, because
It was high alcohol, whatever.
it was high alcohol.
And
it
you
was
got
oatmeal
it at Santorum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do see the flaw in these questions. We might have to rethink this segment for non-craft beer people when we have them on. But thank you for your very honest answers. That was most instructive. Now, Dominic, you've been on this podcast before, so you know what the whole point of this is, right? We drink a beer or two from the taps. It's draft beer, or from the fridge, a can of beer, and then we talk about it a little bit. What is the beer that we are going to be drinking and celebrating this week, Daniel Bellamy?
We might have done this on the show before, but it would have been a year ago or 2 years ago. But we're going to drink Temple Garden Yuzu Ale from Baird, one of their seasonal beers.
Right, this is actually probably in my top 3 Baird beers. It's really good.
What are the other 2?
I don't know. I would know if I was drinking them, I suppose. But my point is that this is one of my favorite Baird beers.
Right.
It's a yuzu ale, so it's got yuzu juice and yuzu zest in it as well. It's got a little bit of yuzu sourness, a little bit of yuzu bitterness. Why don't we just dive into the beer? Okay, and welcome back. We're all enjoying some Temple Garden Yuzu Ale from Baird Brewing in Shizuoka. First of all, why don't we go to you, Dan? What do you think of this beer?
Yep, it's good.
Great, moving on. Dominic, what do you think of this beer?
I like it. It's light. It tastes refreshing. I mean, the percentage is not saying it's light, but the taste itself is light. Yeah, 6%.
6%. There we go. That's the magic number. Yuki, are you enjoying this? As a non-beer person, are you enjoying this beer?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm biased by the name Temple Garden.
It's a nice name.
Yeah, but to me, it's like a bamboo forest.
Interesting.
Wait, you have bamboo before?
I haven't eaten them, but I have walked into.
Okay.
So that's the vibe I get from this.
Okay, so from the smell. Okay.
No, it's the air something.
Getting some bamboo vibes from it.
Yeah, it's the vibe.
It has quite a lot of yuzu fragrance, doesn't it? But it's also kind of bitter and a little bit sour as well. What do you make of the flavor, Dan?
It's much more subdued than the One Night in Tokyo in terms of yuzu flavor. It's like it feels like a really Baird representation of this style. We drank One Night in Tokyo, which was maybe you guys don't know, but a collaboration we did with Virginia Beer Company. So we have cans of theirs in the fridge over there, and we drank one of those a couple weeks ago. And the yuzu on that is much more pronounced. Whereas in this one, it's, as Matthew said, it comes through in the aroma, but less so in the taste, I think. Or it's more balanced into the beer, so you don't notice so much like, oh, wow, this is a yuzu beer. But it's more kind of blends in with the malt backbone, I think. It's really nice. It's definitely crushable, as Chris Poole would say. Goes down easy. Like you said, it's 6%, tastes great. I feel like you could drink this on a hot summer day and feel pretty good about things. Tasty beer.
Or in a bamboo forest. This would be a nice beer to drink in a bamboo forest, wouldn't it?
Yes.
In a temple garden.
Getting that bamboo forest vibe.
Absolutely. Those are the vibes, aren't they?
Yes.
Every week when we drink the beer, we also try to pair it with something by spinning the wheel of pairings. We have 8 different options, but we can't have the 2 most recent ones, Dan, which were, of course...
TV and movies and food.
Specifically dessert.
Specifically dessert.
I think it was. So let's spin the wheel and find out what we'll be pairing the beer with this week. Music. Interesting. So, if you were to be drinking a glass of this beer, the Temple Garden Yuzu Ale from Baird Brewing, what would you like to be listening to as you were doing that? Who wants to go first?
Tell Me a Bedtime Story Now by Herbie Hancock.
Was that a request?
If you could play it. That's what I would be listening to. Something mellow. For me, a little bit kind of jazzy. Mellow, yeah.
The listeners will be very sorry that they can't see you. You've actually started dancing now as you're describing.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You're really going into your mind palace here. I like it.
Yeah.
Can you describe the setting? Are you sitting on a beanbag chair? Is it a dimly lit room?
How many lava lamps are there?
Yeah.
Dimly lit. Has a warm lighting.
Lava lamps, yeah.
Yes, lava lamp. Yeah, I
The,
see
the warmest of lamps.
the one. I see velvet in this image. A
Good.
lot of velvet, and just people just lounging around. Not young people. People just kind of lounging around there, like couples, maybe 3s or 4s.
Have you ever seen the film Eyes Wide Shut?
Of course.
So you know the club that Tom Cruise goes to where he meets the pianist, right? Who then takes him on the adventure through the party, as we shall refer to it.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of vibe that we're thinking of here? Like a sophisticated cocktail bar, low lighting, some nice jazz piano going on, and a very refreshing glass of Temple Garden Yuzu Ale.
Yep.
Not picking up a lot of bamboo in that setting.
No.
But
Did you
A
ever
lot of
go
wood.
Did you ever go to Insomnia in Shibuya? That bar.
Let me
It was
see.
all kind of red velvet, everything basically.
that toilet paper must have been a nightmare to use.
No, I've never been to Insomnia.
It kind of, I feel like it fits what you're describing. The place was cool. I don't know if it's still there or not.
That's a very evocative image, Dominic.
Yeah.
Good. Yuki, you've been looking at your phone. I assume you're doing research and you haven't just got bored with this conversation.
No, I'm just looking at my playlist.
Okay. Have you chosen some music that you would like to pair with this beer?
Yes, I would say Asleep Among Endives.
Okay. I have no idea what this is. Can you describe it to us?
It's relaxing, it's zen, it's chilling. It's chilling, scary,
No.
chilling.
Well, in what sense? Chilling like a suspense.
The
film?
adjective chilling does mean that it makes you scared.
It can.
Yes.
But I know
It chills you out. Is that what you mean? Right. It's relaxing.
Yeah.
Right. That does sound very nice. Dominic described a kind of red velvet draped club that he would like to listen to this in. What would be the setting that you would listen to this music and drink this beer in?
A porch.
Okay. Just
That looks just like the jacket cover of this song.
no,
Okay.
that is quite chilling. There's a lone
Chilling as in...
there's a lone tree in a very foggy field, and a Sadako-like figure is coming towards us in a long white dress with black hair. That is fairly chilling.
Yeah.
Interesting pairing. I have no idea what that music is, so I'll have to look it up later. But thank you. I always appreciate finding out about new music. That looks great. Dan, have you made a choice?
I have. Do you know the 1997 classic hit song Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger? I guarantee you know it. Dominic, where are you from?
LA.
Okay. Yeah, you 100% know this song. How old are you? You want to give that information?
44.
out? So you 100% know this song. If I were to play it, you go, yes, that song.
Okay.
Anyway, there is the song's quite upbeat and high tempo, but there's a cover of it. It's actually in our liked songs playlist that we play in the bar here, by a producer called Elohim, and a guy and another artist called AWOL Nation. And basically, the song is extremely upbeat and fast paced, and the cover they do is really slowed down and choral and kind of ethereal. I like when people cover songs and go, no, I have a completely different vision of what this is. And this is that cover. And I feel like this beer is pretty chill. It melds together nicely. Nothing really strikes out at you very sharply. And that song kind of suits that chill, mellow vibe I get. It's like being in a bamboo forest, if I could coin a phrase.
Yeah.
Just came up with that.
Yeah, now I realize chill is what I wanted to say, not chilling.
Chilling.
It's very chill. That also sounds very relaxing. Everyone's gone for some very relaxing options.
This is where you go, I'm going to take it in a different direction.
Correct. That is correct.
That's why you go last, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're all familiar with the singer Laura Branigan, who performed
Oh, yeah.
Gloria, amongst other fantastic hits. And I recently watched a video of her performing that song live. I watched it on YouTube. And it was in some Italian disco in the 1980s. And everybody was wearing kind of nylon shirts. And they were in an enclosed space and dancing at very high energy to this fantastic pop song. I can only begin to imagine what that room must have smelled like. Right? It would have been
Delightful.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Lots of pheromones going on in there. And I think that in order to enjoy any beer in a situation like that, it would have to be a beer with a very strong and characterful aroma, such as this one. And I really like that song. I like the song, Gloria. I'm thinking of making it my karaoke
You
standard.
like 1980s Italian disco dudes.
Yes.
It's all coming together.
Does
for
anybody not like those things?
Fair.
So yeah, whilst Dominic is relaxing with his red velvet drapes, I'm going to be in a 1980s Italian disco, just pounding down glass after glass of Temple Garden Yuzu
In
Ale.
order to not smell what's happening around you.
Correct.
Right.
That is correct. Yes.
Say the subtext out loud.
Well, quite a varied set of pairings this week. Yuki, do you want to give the background on why it is that you're appearing on this podcast?
Oh, I totally forced myself on this podcast because I found out you guys put Dominic on. I got so upset.
This is correct. It wasn't just that you contacted us out of nowhere saying, how dare you have Dominic on the show and not me. I went to watch you perform comedy last weekend?
Yeah, that was like, two last weekend.
Two weekends ago, I think. The dating horror show, dating horror stories show that you put on in Shimo Kitazawa. And after it was finished, we were having a bit of a chat. And you said, I cannot believe you've had Dominic on this podcast. Before you had me on, you have to let me come on this podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm glad to see that you've done so much homework and preparation in those 2 weeks. But I will say I really enjoyed the show. It was a fantastic show.
Thank you.
You and Bobby Judo performing together. And for anyone who didn't go or isn't aware of the concept, that you gather dating horror stories from the audience, right?
Yes.
And then read them out and share them. So we heard a lot from the audience, but not from the presenters themselves. So I wonder if you'd be prepared to share what are some of Bobby Judo's dating horror stories?
Oh, you missed it?
In addition to that show, can you tell us about any other shows that you have coming up or that you regularly put on?
Yes. So I host a regular comedy show, semi-regular comedy show called Not Just a Diversity Hire. The concept is comedy without misogyny, inclusion without tokenism. So basically, we don't do punching down jokes. Looking at this guy.
Speaking of punching down.
The king of punching down.
So much punching down. It's like that time Dominic visited the Scout Jamboree. There was so much punching down going on.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
actually the next one is going to be the 1 year anniversary because the very first Not Just a Diversity Hire that was last year March to celebrate Women's History Month. And then at that time I didn't expect it to be a regular show. I thought it was going to be a one-off show. But to my surprise, people liked it so much, and then there were lots of people requesting for the next one. There were lots of people who were willing to help. Like I had so many women reach out to me, like, "Can I do something to help?" Yeah. So, and then so far, I think we had 5. Yeah, 5 shows. Yeah. So the next one is going to be the 1 year anniversary, and then the 6th, and then also the first one outside Tokyo.
Right? Exciting.
Yeah,
Where-
Fukuoka.
Fukuoka. If people are interested in going to see the show, how can they find out more about it?
Oh, they can find us on our Instagram account, Not Just a Diversity Hire, or my page, Yuki Events. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just my name, Yuki Events.
Great. I have been to see one of the shows. I heartily recommend it to
Thank
anybody.
you.
It was a really good laugh. Dan, you look like you have some questions. You're poised to leap in with some questions.
I didn't feel like that's what I was doing, but okay. So you're doing that's like a group show with a number of different
Yes.
people. Do you
Yes.
have other stuff going on, or is that taking up all of your time?
Oh, so I just had my first solo last month, And then I'm having the next one in Fukuoka the same weekend as Not Just a Diversity Hire. So that one's going to be on March 18th, Saturday.
Great. How much material do you need for a solo show? Like, how many minutes is your set?
So I was supposed to do 45 the last time.
Wow.
You did 40.
I did 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dominic MC'd. I did around 40.
You did 40. I was timing.
It's a pretty easy job emceeing for 40 minutes. You just stand up there and say, here's Yuki.
Not,
And
not,
she comes on and that's the rest of the show.
not for me in that crowd. That was an assignment.
That was my crowd.
Yeah.
Which means
Yeah. Like
your worst.
my nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
I'm so popular among Gen Z girls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you MC, you tell some jokes as well, and they didn't. Is that correct? Is that what's happening?
No, you did great.
Thank you. Every MC is a little bit different. I just do crowd work
Okay.
because the focus isn't me. I need to pass off to the comedians, so I've kind of set the table. You're American. It's like the lead-off batter.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
This makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Is that a hockey reference?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
You don't want. I understand. You don't want to upstage her.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
bust out your A-list material.
Yeah.
But her audience was not receptive to what you were putting down.
No,
or-
actually, he did great.
Okay.
No, I saw that same audience before, so I knew which
The one-
landmines. Yeah. I knew which landmines.
Actually,
so
you
forth.
talked about it on this podcast
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Right, that was the show that you bombed at the hardest.
Yeah. That was
And
just
then
weird.
I went up and then I fucking killed it.
Yeah. Yeah. That
It's
was.
almost like you enjoyed it more.
She
that
does.
You killed it after
Oh,
you
I enjoyed your
Because she's-
set very much.
She's a sadist.
your pain is my pleasure.
Of course.
Let me ask you though. Like
Cruel
you do
Beauty.
sets sometimes too, right? The Cruel Beauty for sure.
Yeah.
You like is it kind of good when the previous comic bombs? Because
No, it's
Worse.
almost never a good thing.
Yeah.
Except
So
when it happens
because-
to Dominic.
Yeah, because the room went so cold,
Yeah.
but I managed to
so it's not like
bring them back to life.
as an observer, it would seem to me that if someone bombs, that the next person comes up and like people are we want something
so
funny.
because people are like, okay, another comic, another comedy.
I
Because
see.
that wasn't just a comedy open mic, that was like mixed arts, like music,
Music.
dancing, poetry, and then thank you for that, but he fucking killed not killed, but like
I bombed.
you
yeah.
bombed, and then people are like, oh my gosh, another comedian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you brought it back.
Yeah. To her. That's why I book her as my headliner. And
That wasn't your audience.
it was mine. And I'll just add this a little bit because Yuki is, for all her talents, promotion is not, because her humbleness is not her strong suit. So I organize shows. Her diversity hire in September, and I said that was the best show that I saw this year. In Tokyo, from like 6 comics, right? 6 or 7 comics.
Which one?
The one in September.
September, yeah. So
Jax was the MC.
Jax, Bobby, Freddie.
Natasha opened.
No, you're talking about another one.
Well, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the show was strong from beginning to end. Like everybody was good.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Like I've never. I shouldn't even say that. I'll say it. I've never hosted a show, and I felt like everybody killed it. For that show, everybody killed it, and that's really hard to do. Organizing, because you have to choose the MC. You're choosing because like when you're organizing it, you're essentially producing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's all on you. I was highly impressed with that show, and I said it right after. Like that was the best show I saw this year, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, you never see a show with mainly female comedians, and it's not really about that. but it kind of is. Like, when I do my lineups, I'm not really consciously thinking about all of that stuff, but it just kind of comes out.
Are there more male stand-up comics than female stand-up comics that are like participating in shows like you organize?
There are, but to be brutally honest, it's not enough comedians to begin with anyway. So, because the Tokyo scene is growing right now, so what people don't fully realize is if you're around and you're even half decent, you're probably going to get on the show.
This is your chance, Tan.
Yeah.
That tight five you've been working on. I've seen you practicing.
I don't know, Matthew. I think you should go up.
I very much disagree with that.
Earlier
on, we were talking about a room being either hot or cold.
That's what you can do when you're in charge of the podcast. Right?
And how, if the room is cold, it can be difficult to go up and win them back over again. Do you think it helps or hinders if the audience is drunk?
Yes, I am much funnier when the audience is drunk.
So am I. But that is relative, I suppose. You are much funnier to begin with. Why do you think it helps if the audience is drunk? Is it because they're more relaxed? Because they're more open?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. I'm answering my own questions.
Answered your own question.
But is there a point at which it stops being helpful? Like, if you're going on late at night.
Yeah, I shouldn't be specific, but last night, oh my gosh.
What happened last night?
This guy was so, way too drunk, right?
Yeah.
He'd step in on comedians' jokes, we appreciate the enthusiasm, but, we have written our stuff. We have point A, point B, point C.
Pauses, delivery.
Yeah. Sometimes interruption makes it funnier, but usually not. Yeah.
What about the open mic sessions that you run, Dominic? Do the performers, they must be nervous, especially if they're first timers. Have you ever had somebody who's had, a few too many drinks before they've gone up to perform to steady the nerves?
Well, yeah, of course it's an open mic. But the spirit of the open mic is you're trying stuff out anyway. Usually it's not the beginners that drink too much. It's the people who've done it a few times.
Right.
And
the Yuki Nivezes of the world.
Yeah. and their landmine is coming.
Right.
So it's better to do it on an open mic than a showcase show.
What do you mean by that? Their landmine is coming? Is this another hockey reference?
No. I'm American, so this is war. Sunday.
Hockey is war.
What?
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, no.
Stepping on his jokes.
Yeah, exactly. No, on Sunday, the good comedian, he worked himself into a trap, and it ended up going into a rant. And I could tell he couldn't find his way to the punchline or his way out, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I had to flash him with the light. So for the audience, you get X amount of time. So 5 minutes. You get flashed with a flashlight at around 4 minutes or 4 minutes 30 seconds. Pretty much you have to wrap it up. You have to finish before the 5. I hit him at 4. I give everybody 5+. It was going downhill. I'm like, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And you could say whatever you want. You just got to be funny. I couldn't see how it was getting the funny, and I had to flash him early. That was his landmine. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I seen him do that.
And did he wrap it up?
I tried. He wrapped it. He didn't hit the punchline because there was no punchline. It turned into a rant. I've done it. So I know it's sometimes you just gotta kill the sheep and just let it go. And just, all right, thank you. Enjoy your night. And then you get 3 claps, nervous claps, and then
that happened. Move on.
Exactly.
Everybody bombs. This is my understanding, right?
No,
you have to kind of.
Yeah.
You not bomb? Have you bombed?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? I assume that you remember the first time you stepped up on stage.
Yes.
That I
Is
remember.
true?
That I remember.
Can you tell us the joke from that first set that makes you cringe when you think about it? What was the worst joke you told the first time you stepped foot on stage? Do you have it, Dominic?
I do. I remember the joke, and I didn't like the joke when I wrote it.
You still went up and told it.
No, actually, it worked. I didn't like it because I felt like anybody could tell it. It was a Tinder joke.
Let's have it.
Let me see. It's been so long since I told it, so I'm going to give like the cliff notes to it. So I've been going on Tinder lately. I'm looking at women's profiles. I don't understand what you're trying to communicate. I look at your photos. I see pictures of you eating food, of you scuba diving at the beach. There was one more point to it, but then the punchline was, are you speaking in some kind of hieroglyphics? What are you trying to communicate? You're craving your lady part is craving, I don't know, a guy, and the water's representing squirting. Like, I'm kind of butchering the joke, but it was much smoother than that. But people like that joke.
It can't have been much smoother than that.
I haven't told this joke like in 3 or 4 years. I didn't when I wrote it.
You didn't like it when you wrote it,
Because anybody could tell it.
but you still put it in your first set, and it got a good reaction.
Oh, yeah.
People liked it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
How about you, Yuki? Do you remember? Is there a joke from the first time you went up on stage? that
Well,
you-
to be honest,
Yeah.
I killed on my on my
It's all
first
A
open
material.
mic.
Okay,
I'm
so-
so sorry.
So what was the
I
joke?
don't want to lie.
Okay, hi. Yeah, you're so Japanese. You're so humble.
Humbleness is my strongest.
I know.
But
What
the
was the
worst
joke?
But the joke.
Your first joke.
Or the best joke that you told during that absolutely killer.
No,
first
actually,
set.
the first joke I ever did, I think you heard that one.
Still
at the show
telling
I
it.
came.
Okay. I had a lot of jokes.
So I can't spoil this. I can't spoil this joke, but it's about it's from my actual experience.
Of being in Australia.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Not that one. But my name is Yuki,
Okay.
and every time I say my name is Yuki to a white man, I get the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's based on that true experience.
I'm going to go to the restroom.
That's the best joke you've told all night.
That's not what I usually get when I say Yuki.
It's been really great talking to you both about alcohol and comedy. Thank you very much for sharing
Thank
your stories. Dominic, if people want to see you perform or see any of your shows, can you give us some dates? Can you tell us where to find out more information?
I run an open mic. So for comedy open mic, anybody can come, especially new comedians. If you're even thinking about coming, you start at an open mic. It's the best way to start. If you're more experienced, then you probably already know me. So bring your ass and come. I host it every Sunday in Shibuya at a bar called DJ Bar Pyramid 55. If you follow me on Instagram, Dominic Early. I'm the only black Dominic Early with a bald head. I'm pretty easy to find. If you find me on there, I post flyers about my shows regularly. The open mic will be going every Sunday starting March. And then my next showcase, my next main show, where I produce the show, will be at Harry's Sandwich Company in March 23rd. Yuki will be there, headlining, because she's my go-to. She's my day one. If you're black, you get that. She's my day one with my comedy. So, yeah, that's what I got going on.
I'll assume that's another hockey reference.
Yeah, of course.
If You're Black tipped you off. It's definitely about hockey.
Famously. Yuki, how about you? Can we hear those tour dates once again? Can you give us more information about where people can find out about your shows?
Oh yeah, it's all on my Instagram. But I'm doing 3 shows in Fukuoka in March. March 17th, it's kind of a preview show at a beer place actually.
Interesting.
And then my solo on March 18th, Saturday, and Not Just a Diversity Hire on March 19th, Sunday.
Great.
And then to set the record straight, Dominic is an amazing MC.
Oh,
I am counting on him
but I can't
to
come.
hype me up.
Yeah, but I can't come to Fukuoka, so.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but
in Tokyo.
in Tokyo, in Tokyo I can do it.
Thank you both very much for joining us today. Thank you, Yuki, for forcing your way onto the podcast. Thank you, Dominic, for your second appearance. Thank you, Dan, for being
My
here, I
84th
guess.
appearance, I
Well,
think.
something like that.
I'm in the leaderboard, the leader house. What's it called?
And thank you to both of my parents for listening to this episode. We will see you again next time, everyone. Stay safe. And thank you very much.
Thanks for listening, everybody.